little trip out, but I am back. See who's out here, see if anybody's on. We can chop it up. I know the crew been doing their thing. I understand the people ain't on, but I'm back today just to see what's up. I know it's NBA trade day, so I know how that's gonna go down. I ain't expecting much of nothing. Someone keeps me posted, let me know. Um, I guess I'll talk about a few things. Jay Z's been coming up. They about to take him out soon. It's just a matter of time. That's why he went on a little spiel. People are talking about Monique, and I give her her props. She kept it 100, about what she's saying. But the only problem is that some people are going to think she's coming behind Cat Williams when it's the other way around. She had long ago spoke out about the Hollywood plantation. She had long ago won all the awards, and she didn't get her due. She went against Netflix. See, people don't remember how she spoke out about Oprah, Tyler Perry, Lee Daniels, etc. So she had long ago spoke out about it. This is nothing new. It's nothing new. Cat wasn't the first, and you know. But anyway, hers is more deeper in an introspective way because she's going to go into more details. He was more for like a quick hit and laugh, and the way he was trying to say it. But hers was more in an introspective way where she was, you know, the way she put it down. So different takes, same thing but very different. Because again, she had won all the awards. She been there. She been to what you call the promised land, the mountaintop. She been on that level. He ain't been on that level. Not like Monique. When you win all those awards, when you've been a household name, you can't compare the two situations. And that's all I was saying. Plus, I think Monique is more talented than Kat. She showed it, but she also did it on a grand level. She did it for a long time. But again, we're talking about decades upon decades acts and artists. We're not talking about people that are in the common now. So, you know. But anyway, that's my thoughts and takes on that. I mean, that's one of the things. And Jay Z crying about the Grammys. He don't care about that. He's kissing up to the NFL. Well, you make up your mind. No one, no one's trying to hear his fake John Basket self talk about something. No, lazy need to shut up. He got over. He was a token one, and now he about to be a broken one, maybe. I did some videos. They're gonna come out. Um, Talked about Wendy Williams because she's the reason why you have a lot of these folks that'll be on social media with talking about other folks. But what's happened to her being broke is quite, you don't want nobody to be broke or nothing, but karma don't miss it. But you gotta be careful how you say and what you word things. So I dealt into that one about what she's concerned. Um, you know, did a video about black basketball centers, and I'm gonna go on record and saying the USA black ones. I don't even want to debate them no more where they rank. I don't want to debate no more where Wilt ranks or Kareem ranks or Bill Russell, Shaquille O'Neal, or Moses Malone ranks. I just want to say they were all great. And maybe I may make them all top five when I'm all said and done. I don't care. I am so tired of the disrespect of the black USA male great basketball centers. No, I didn't get into Willis Reed. I didn't do that, all due respect. And there's some others I didn't get into, Nate Thurman, etc. But I want to talk about these four always getting maligned. People always trying to shortchange their greatness, trying to downplay what they're about. You know, you know, always trying to like act like they don't have a place in it when they do. Because it gets tiring when you don't when it's like they try to make like Will Chamberlain was a fragment of your imagination, like he didn't exist. That man was real. That man was real. If Will Chamberlain was white, they wouldn't be shutting up about him. He'd be bigger than Babe Ruth. In fact, he make Babe Ruth like Dale Bear, Yogi Berra's son. Wouldn't he be a Yogi? He'd be like a Dale. Come on now. Same thing with Bill Russell. They always try to say, "Oh well, yeah, what's up, Ted? How you doing? I just got your message. What's up? What's up? What's up?" Yeah, and I get tired of them downplaying Bill Russell, Will Chamberlain, Shaq, and Kareem. So I had enough of it, and Moses too. The problem with Buddy Hield is that we had the best of him, and I can't remember, but he should fit in good. It's a good move for both, you know. keep me posted if there's any moves. I'm not expecting a lot today. I'm not really expecting a lot. I think there's a lot of hoopla and hype, but there's really not much you can really do. There really ain't. You're gonna see more younger, what I call swappable cats, but you're not gonna. I think really do believe if Zach Levine was healthy, he would have been a goner. I really do, but he don't want to leave Chicago because the quiet is kept. Zach Levine is kind of like a low budget Anthony Davis. He don't want the pressure. He don't want to go nowhere where he has to actually play ball. Cause think about it, he ain't really had to play ball where he been at so far in his career. No one's required him. You know when Aaron Gordon got traded, he got to Denver. Now he has to be accountable with Jokic, but he's in a supporting role. He ain't the slam dunk specialist. Remember when Zach Levine and Aaron Gordon were like doing their best? LeBron and Steph said they were doing the slam dunk finals every year. Yeah, how their careers turn out. Besides, just saying. Yeah, I saw that. I didn't. He great white hype, a good player, a good player, in search of his Tom Brady. They are. They are. And they will boo you behind. But they have a right to in certain cases. Now, I'm not really, I talk to Philly fans. I'm giving Jalen Hurd the benefit of the doubt. I think the coach is whack. I think they all quit on their coach. I don't think it's just Jalen. I think there's more going on in their locker room. Gordon Hayward had some moments. He had some moments. And then he's almost like he's forgotten. And he'd be like a poor man's Chris Mullin. And I'm just, is it because he's white and left handed? There could be some truth to it, but it could also be some truth. But he's been kind of forgotten. And he went from a guy that looked like a hyped up, could be very good to great to just a good player who kind of has been forgotten. And you know what? I ain't gonna lie. If they were playing who he played with Shaq, Charles, Kenny, and Ernie, I'd be kind of stumped. I forgot all about him. I mean, I really did. Because after the whole Boston fiasco with him and Kyrie not working out and where he went, I forgot all about him. He been in Saudi Arabia as far as my mind goes, so you got to forgive me if I don't, you know. But anyway, I'm tired about the big men. I wanted to address that in a video. It's gonna come out. I got tired of the way, and I included Moses Malone because I said all these guys were league MVPs, all these guys won titles and stuff. And if you want to make them five of the greatest players ever, have at it. Moses Malone was a three-time league MVP, went to multiple finals, and he won the finals with Philly, 4-4-4. The team that won only one loss, which predated Shaq and Kobe and Fields' 0-1 team and Steph and Durant and Clay and them's Golden State team was 17. So the team that had one loss. Yeah, so stop with all this nonsense about, not giving put all them great centers on the they need to get they due. So from here on out, oh yeah, he'd be a beast. I mean, he'd be if you think Giannis is something, Dave Robinson would probably average about 15 more points than Giannis. And he's gonna be forgotten. And he's one of the 10 greatest centers there is. Hmm. He would be. He would be scary. Imagine if he played with Victor Wembanyama right now. That would be lethal. That would be lethal because he would teach that kid how to block properly, take care of his inside game, and then put back up. That's what they're missing. He's a great teacher, underrated, one of the most underrated teachers there are because he really helped Duncan out with footwork and technical prowess on the glass. Dave Robinson was more fundamental against critical. Oh yeah. You can mention Jerome Curse, Buck Williams. I can name names that would tear this league up today. They just played in a more manly league, and you had to do things a different way back then. But today, with the way things are, please, they would eat this league up. They'd be gobbling like they Pac-Man. Strickland would post him up nicely. He sure would. That's the kind of guard he would need. See, you have a guard who knows how to actually post you properly. He'd be scary. But these guys that they shoot threes and everybody's trying to fade away and they're not really and that's why they get in trouble on defense. That's what's hurting San Antonio because they actually be in some games, but they don't have any consistency. That's the lacking. Because they, if I'm honest with you, some of their games they could be at least a 18 to 20 win team right now. Oh yeah, well I go without saying. I mean, that goes without saying. Tom Chambers would be feasting the day while you're driving. Maybe if Mark Price stayed healthy, Stockton would be 5 to 10 more points, 5 to 10 more assists a day. Skiles would be, he had 30 assists back in 90, and Scott Skiles was what I call a third, fourth tier point guard. So he'd be looking like an all-star right now. I mean, especially if Austin Reeves can get out and look like he got a game. Oh yeah, I can name some cats, some white cats from back in the day that would make Austin Reeves look like the water boy. Okay, it's just that they sell a different agenda today. I didn't do the Scrubs versus Bums yet, but that video is coming, by the way. That will be on its way soon. So I'm gonna break that one down for you. The Bums didn't cherry pick as much. I'm gonna tell you why they didn't. They would run and get points, but the problem with Bums is I told you about Bums. They have a tendency to really put it on when, and you be like, yeah, how come you don't do that every night? That's what make them frustrated. Now the scrubs like Kurt Rambis get them garbage dunks or something, and you be like, "Oh, I didn't know he could get up that high." You be cracking up because he actually got on the scores list. Now that's what's a scrub. That's the difference between scrubs and bums. See, because the scrubs that they cherry pick and you do, they had a wide open. You're like, "Oh my god." The bums, you expect them to score certain. They just played all that they felt like it. That's why they two different universes. And I got more respect for scrubs than I do bums. Yeah, I mean, I say what I say because scrubs, you just crack up off it. But bums, being a bum, you just play all bummy. We know good and well your behind could put up 30 points, but you're going to settle for 15 and coast and grin. That's the problem. But scrubs, if they score 4 or 5 points, you cracking up. So that's what I'm saying. And Doodoo Brown had some hang in him. He had some hang in him. He had a little hang in him. He had a little hang. He had a little bit. You know. Well, most of the cats in the NBA can dunk or got stuff. It's just that how you get to that level is there guys who, when you scrimmage or play, there are guys who are better than you in different things, and then you get exposed on a whole different level. There's tiers to it, you know. But we get the bums. That's just cats that that's got skills, but they just rather just say if I feel like it, if I want to. That's the problem, and they usually don't win nothing. That's why I don't never consider a superstar a bum because guys who don't never get it ain't. They fall. That's who falls in that category. That's why I resent it if someone's a great player and they get called. Because that means your butt's gonna get fired, or you're getting showed out, or you want to clothesline them. Some scrub has a out of body on you, and you don't know what to do. So if you don't knock them on their butt, you're gonna coach might get fired, or your team might have to run extra laps. You know, you imagine what it was like when Magic threw a pass, a straight pass to Kurt Rambis, and he's hanging all on the rim. Why do you think Larry Bird got a Kevin McHale to clothesline Kurt Rambis? They looked at Rambis as some goofy Clark Kent white boy, and they said we can't have that turkey showing us up. See, that's what I'm getting at when we talk about screws. You got some dude, yeah, he can play on a certain level, but let's be realistic. He's third tier, and if there's a 12-man rotate, he's in that 10 to 12-man rotate, and he's in that 11 to 12 slot. He ain't got no business hitting a 6 man, let alone getting in there and let alone coasting on you and finger rolling on you like he's George Gervin or something. Come on now. So, you know, that's when, yeah, and I grew up with those turkeys. That's what I grew up with. It used to be like watching wrestling when when there's some dude had a corny name and he goes up against the known wrestler and he gets pinned and knocked out within 3, 4 minutes. You ain't even got time to put your bowl of popcorn and get your drink up, and the guy's already pinned. That's what that Scrubs is like. So there's a lot of them. Oh yeah, that's what it was like. John Cronkite, because Cronkite when he played for Atlanta, Shaq said that got him inspired. He said, if he could do it, I can do it. I'm for real. Oh, they've had some busters. You know what I'm talking about? You watch TV wrestling, dude got a sorry name, and next thing you know, that turkey's already pinned. You ain't had time to sit down, get in your lazy boy, and pop back. He's gone. Or like some of them tomato cans that Mike Tyson fought. Now you know they were tomato cans. They had some boxing matches against some scrubs. You know them cats is scrubs, and they get knocked out before you even have a chance to even put your head back. You just like it's over. So they do it in the NBA too. It's a joke. They done it in college football. You know, like when Alabama used to beat up on Florida AT&T Xfinity or something. Some school you have to like Google 3 times and say, oh yeah, they have a population of they got a population of 188, and half of them play for the school. I mean, you know. So that's always going on in that. So the NBA, yeah, you know, when you see some scrub, you cracking up. You know, that's why right now to hear Smush Parker crying still about how I don't want to talk to him and ignored him. You know, listen, you were a scrub. You know, I mean, you didn't do nothing. You weren't gonna, you know, but you were able enough to get to the level. You laugh at these turkeys because they walk around thinking like, hey, you know, I played for someone, so I said, nah, it's because they were short staffed. That's what's up. You a scrub. So if you work with a scrub, you know what I mean. You can work with a bum and they be frustrating because it's like, well, if I feel like it, I'll come to work. If I feel like it, that's what you get out. If I feel like it, give me a scrub so I can laugh. At least I'm not gonna be mad at a scrub. Crack up. But some bum, that turkey won't do jack. That'll give you the most frustrating. If I want to, I can. So he was because he had potential. There was a time you could make the case he was the best offensive player at center, post Shaq, and then Dwight was best defensive, center. But he squandered it. And then I remember he had that game. What was that game? He shot that three ball. It was against Dallas or somebody, and he said, "I'm just zenning." I'm just zenning. I remember when Kobe got mad at him and told him, he said, "Trade this butt out of here. Give me Jason Kidd." Because Bynum was a waste. He got fast on the cars, the women, the weed, and didn't play no more ball. Had a, I felt that way about Lamar Odom too. Had top tier talent, but just had that bum mindset. You know, it's funny you mentioned Andrew Bynum because Bone almost fits in his name. If you look at it, Bynum and Bonham, that's funny. That's funny right there what you did there. But he do fit the description. He could have been a good one. Not great though. I remember. Told me to get a sky hook. He said, I want that old man shot. And I'm like, you ain't got nothing special. All you have is a basic two-step drop, bam. Cats are gonna take you out 10, 15 feet. Even guys who are lighter than you can put a butt in your hip and knock you out of joint. You just a one-dimensional kind of player. Get you a shot. He wouldn't listen. Then he started trying to shoot threes, and that was hilarious. Young, dumb, and ignorant, and didn't want to listen to nobody. Had a chance to have a good career. Had a chance to have a good career. Not great, but good. Good. And could have made it look great had he played straight because he was in LA as a kid. He was a puppy. He thought he did something when he dunked back on Shaq after Shaq dunked on him and got physical with him. You see. I remember. Wasted. And then Paul Gasol, even though Bynum, you could say, had more natural inside skills, Gasol showed you how to layer in and fit in the concept and work on your game. That's the problem I have. And you get these guys who are woulda, coulda, shouldas. He wasn't a bum. He was solid. The thing about it is that, well, for a Duke player, he was solid. And I'll say the reason why he was solid is because he never had the right point guard situation, right system, and he did what he's supposed to. But he wasn't a guy that you can sit there and think, okay, I'm going to debate him 15, 20 years amongst the greatest. He was good, solid. I liked him. I did like EB, but I never felt like he was gonna be that dude. You know what I mean? Some cats you look at and you think, okay, they're either gonna be in these levels. I never felt that way about him. Solid though, solid. You know, good player. Had some good moments. Maybe get sneak All Star game 2 to 3, but not nobody that you would build around and think, oh, this guy's a second coming. No, I liked him though. I did like him. I did like him, but I didn't feel he was gonna be like one of them guys I was gonna debate. You know the guys we debate. Brand's name, as much as I like EB, we're gonna name 199 before we get to him. Just saying. I will guarantee you that. How about Miles Bridges and Shock? Pascal. Miles Bridges all right. I mean, he okay. Um, I don't really, spend a lot of time investing in him because I mean you know, he's okay. I mean, he's one of those guys. I have to see how the body work play out, who his teammates are, and what he do. I don't really look at him as that deep. He all right, decent. You talking about Pascal? If you're talking about Pascal, I say he very solid to good, but he won't be considered great because he's not first tier. He can be a high second tier, and he definitely rolls as a third wing. Like he can be the second man high, third man high, and give you a night or two where he looked first, but he ain't first. But he good though. Pascal is nice though. You know. So well, all respect to Two Raw. I don't try to do a lot of LeBron. I do some. I don't talk about him too much, and there's a reason. He cried too much for me. He cried too much. Unless something really come up that really get my attention, I try to avoid him because he looking for sympathy. See, the problem is they don't have the guy that can score. They have guys who score in rhythm, but they don't have guys like that. Okay, I'm gonna address that, but let me finish about LeBron first. And Donovan Mitchell, like Shaq said, is not a superstar. Donovan been around with Cleveland. If he wants him, he should go to Cleveland and play with him. He might enjoy some life in Donovan Mitchell because that's what Donovan Mitchell needs. Donovan Mitchell can't carry a team. He needs somebody who can man him up and carry a team. Donovan can put up numbers. It's kind of like a Damian Lillard situation. He can put up some numbers, but if you asking him to take you, climb on my back like Kawhi Leonard can do, he ain't even close. He will sink. So, but now the Lakers aren't going to spend no money on nobody like that because they got cap and they're looking for picks and they're looking to get younger. Because again, quiet as this cap, can they move AD? Because when LeBron is done, I don't think they're gonna sit around on AD's behind. Now with his halftime behind, and they know they can't win with him by himself. So you expect some move. That's why he crying. They're pretty much saying we stuck with these old men. We're gonna ride the ship. Okay, for Mr. Wiggins, no. Cause again, if he ain't stepping up for Steph Curry, he sure as heck ain't gonna step for Jimmy Butler. So no, no, you know, he too halftime for me. When he on, but you don't know when that's gonna be on. On the Bucks, if his defense comes back, yeah. If his defense comes back, if his defense don't come back, then he's don't have a lot of options. He's his own worst enemy, really. Could have been, get that guy back. He was 2 years ago when they went to the finals that year. Then he would be he'd be a must have for about 10 teams. But the way he is now, he's got Toronto written all over him, or some scrub team. No one's gonna take a chance on Wiggins not now. Yeah. But then again, they will because if Rudy Gay still got a job, and Wiggins should get about six. But it's so sad to see what's happening. Okay, so Clay washed up. Well, he got old, and you gotta remember that he has some serious injuries. But I can't feel sorry for the guy. The guy, 4 rings, 6 finals, gonna be a Hall of Famer. And I like him. But so it happens. You play long enough, it eventually will happen. That's it. But I said before all this steroid run NBA that we got now with this uh, electrical shock voltage, if before all these guys started throwing 70s up, he was the dude I felt that could get between Kobe and Wilt. He is the dude. So he was the dude. But his amount of touches he got in shots legally. But nowadays, anybody, they going to have somebody come along the way these guys are shooting up shots. But Clay would have been the one. The Suns, I've been said that. I don't trust Devin Booker. I don't trust him at all. So that's a problem. KD's not really effective as an alpha leader. They don't play no defense. They try to cut corners. They hoping Bradley Beal can kind of cover their engines and cover what they got. And I think if Devin Booker had won that finals against Milwaukee, it'd be a different ball game. But a runner up may as well be on the ocean. And sometimes a run up is great if that's his, but they're just not cut out for that cloth. I just don't feel it either. So yeah, they are fraudulent. The mind is a superstar, but it's played on the sport. Who are you talking about? Who's the mind? His injuries hurt him, but Drew Holiday not being there is what hurts him. They don't have someone that can kind of cohesively put them where they need to be. Because Drew could not only play defense, but he could hit that shot. And going for Dame Lillard, I know why they did it for this 1-2 punch thing because they thought they had to outshoot teams. But the problem is they don't have no defense. That's a big hole in the road. And then they went and got Doc Rivers, so now they put themselves behind the eight ball multiple ways. No, Michael Jordan said his mind was on. He said his body was. I think Clay's case is that those injuries, and he spent so much. He did so much on defense. He did so much, you know, getting his groove back. And so it took a lot out of him. And that's the sad part. That's a sad reality, you know, because I mean, the guy was, something else. But, you get older too. I mean, guy can't play like that forever. Shoot. He's exerting a lot of energy. And they've had a crazy run. I mean, come on now. You go to six finals, you win four chips. Do you know how many games you play? Do you know how much a season was? Yeah. He was older and he was out of shape and he had a young team. Uh, he tried to bring in a coach in Doug Collins that could bring a certain discipline. And they had some games and moments when they looked all right, but they weren't no threat to win nothing. If you're just trying to get a team rallied up to feel good, to play good, he almost accomplished that. If you were actually having championship aspirations or 2 or 3 rounds deep, you a dreamer. You're snorting something. So no, it wasn't going to happen. He had some okay games. I mean, he did score 20 points. And that's not a big thing when you think about him. But considering his age and how he had to get he's out of shape and get his rhythm back, and he's playing with this whole different cast and what he was doing, that was pretty good. It wasn't great or nothing, but he had some moments. I remember the Ron Mercer take the Brock off the board and he scored the points. I mean, he had some moments. But you gotta remember, he was older and his steps and the thing. I'm not making excuses because he played about a year too long. As a matter of fact, the storybook ending was in Utah. If you thought it was a push off from Byron Russell, or if you didn't think it was, that's the best way to end it. The Washington Wizard era it was okay, but it was anticlimactic. You know, it's kind of like when you see anything after the Godfather Part Two, when they try to come with Godfather 3 or 4. It has some moments, but it ain't like the full zenith, and that's what happened with him. They needed. He tried to bring on his Tar Heel buddies, and that backfired. And the league had changed, and he got older. He was, yeah, because he could be half-timey. He could have been better than he was. Um, he was strong and effective, but he talked tough, and he still tears that exterior. But just like when he was with Iverson and Philly, and what happened, he always tried to be more intimidating, more bullish, and it just didn't lead to much. He had moments, but he just came up short, real short. So that's why he almost became like a father, like casualty, such, and you almost forget about him. You do. So I don't really talk about him much. He talked trash when he went there with Jordan, and everything like that. Yeah, yeah, like I said before, he could score, but no one talks about his career. I mean, what you want me to say? I mean, yeah, he could score. Like, I mean, that 57 does count. Like Gilbert Arenas scored 60, but do you want me to sit here and say that they belong in a conversation with some of the best or even some of the good players that you're going to sit there and debate about? No, no. Bone, but not for reasons that he could have been a superstar, but Bone because he could have been a good player and could have actually applied that and you could have respected it more. You don't really respect his game. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, you got all. What he did is he hit him with a he hit the ball. He pumped hard left. He did use his hand, but subtle. It was a slide. You could have made a call. I mean, I'm surprised that when he slapped the ball, Carl Malone the other, and they didn't call a foul. Because usually Carl Malone would get that call. But what he did is that when he pulled up, he Jordan didn't, he hit it. He didn't really juke him, but it was just enough to get his shot over. And like Jordan said back then, it was 80% mental because Russell played good defense on him. He just had to get the shot up off, and that was the thing. A lot of times, Jordan was well defended. I remember that game on that Sunday when Carmelo missed one of the free throws and Jordan came at the game winning shot. The defense was there because Jerry Sloan had his guys coached to the T. They D'd you up properly. They didn't give you nothing, no room to breathe. So, but the way he hit that shot, he spotted him. Jordan moved like he was a boxer. It was a rhythm in out boom. He did because he just his instincts. That's what made him special like he was because his instincts, intuition, you know, he just had that will. I'm not gonna lose to these guys, and I'm gonna make it count. You know, and he was more comfortable in that scene than he was against the Pacers. The Pacers just didn't finish him off because he was vulnerable that year, and I do understand why the Bulls were a little bit reluctant to come back to '99. I do because they were drained. But yeah, you knew it was going in. Once he got that, it's pretty much like once he got that taste of winning championships and winning. It's with any player that wins. I mean, it's like how I felt about Isaiah when he started winning. It just went on. Magic, Kareem. I mean, anyone, all of them. Once you get that taste of it, you know what to do. You know, especially when they're healthy and they're vibrant. Not to me. Not to me. They got physical with him, but he still knew he could beat them. See the difference between Detroit and New York, and I know it, and I'm one of the few people that champion those bad boy Pistons team. Because you watch my videos, I will give Isaiah his due. I told you before, Isaiah and Dumars were the precursor to Jordan and Pippen. Now you could sit there and they took over. You could say that Jordan and Pippen may have been a bigger, better version if you want to. That's debate. That's how you feel. But the Knicks didn't beat them with guard play. They got physical with them, but they didn't beat them with the guard. There was no Isaiah Thomas from the Knicks. If you put Isaiah Thomas with Patrick Ewing, they beat the Bulls. Okay, they never had a leader like Isaiah Thomas. That's why I champion Isaiah Thomas. I'm one of the few people that do these. If I do a sports stream, when I ain't, but if I'm doing sports, like we talking basketball, I'm gonna always give it to Isaiah because I know how competitive he was. I know he was tough, and I know he wasn't scared of no Jordan, and he was gonna bust that behind, and he knew it. When he get him back to Detroit, he was gonna finish him up. So you know, but uh, the Knicks didn't get him like they should because they didn't have the guard play like they should. I like the guys they had, but they weren't no Isaiah Thomas. That's what Patrick Ewing was missing. You got a Zeke out there, you're not losing. You're gonna win a couple rings too. So that's the difference for me. So yeah, he's my favorite 6'1" and under guard. I'll take him over Iverson. I would debate for Zeke all day. Zeke to me was a precursor to Steph Curry. Not so much about the shooting the threes, but it's the way he could get you quick. Like, a lot of guards understand that. And Steve Nash got it because he gave Zeke his due. See, I don't hear a lot of guys because he's a forbidden word in NBA. He's forbidden because they couldn't sell merchandise. But they can't tell me that guy couldn't ball and roll. People forget 40 years ago, the highest scoring game ever, Detroit Denver. He was part of it. They don't realize how he brought his game down, changed his game to fit into more that physicality game and make it more, well, yeah, he was raw and he could do a lot of things. Skill set, crazy. I seen him dribble. I seen him do some stuff. A lot of people don't realize how filthy Zeke was. He didn't sell tickets. That's the problem. Too black, too hood, And I was like he was playing pulling a fast one on you. So, which has nothing to really do with the game, but it is a game within a game. I get it. Because the NBA doesn't like their Negroes to be too threatening. They don't like that. So, and he was. He was. Oh, I liked him. Because my thing was about what you did on the court. I ain't, I ain't got to hang out with you. But his style and like I said before, he never played with a great center. Yeah, he would do those little hand like pick your fingers. I think I want to say who's that white boy who played for the Bulls? Dwayne Wade used to say he did that too. He played in all O's. You know what I'm talking about? He was a quick shooting guard for them because he went against the Bulls back then when D Wade first came out. So that white boy used to do that all the time too. But anyway, yeah, Kirk. Thank you. You read my mind. Thank you. Thank you. I couldn't think of Heinrich. I was gonna say start with an H. Yeah, he used to do little off-screen plays. He kind of pick. He kind of like pick your fingers, and it was so subtle. And the refs act like they couldn't see it. That's all he had to his game. I mean, he played hard because he overachieved, but they used it. But Stockton would do dirty tactics. He kind of give you little elbows or shoulders, little, and then they do screens and picks. And him and Malone had that. They had a routine of that, which might be the best pick and roll ever. Even more so than Magic Kareem because the way they would pass the ball like a volley was in sync. And Stockton could cut to the hole with that left hand off the glass. It was sweet. It's poetic. The problem with them is they just didn't have a dominant center, and they did. And Hornacek was a tough white boy, but they didn't have a pure just a guy who could just get buckets. You needed a cherry picker. Get a cherry picker with that team, they probably win a chip. If for not having a center, they deserve a cherry picker, and they didn't get it. They played textbook all day. Yeah, Ainge was. Tree Rollins was hilarious. That was hilarious. I remember that like yesterday. And thanks again for talking about Kirk Heinrich. Because I tend to forget what I call lower second, high third tier cats. Because that's all I really know. He hit some shots, and he did some cheap stuff. Not much to him, but he played feisty. Bought himself about 7 8 years for being a feisty hybrid, kind of player. Which I do got respect for because whatever you're lacking in your skill set, you better have some hustle in you. And he did. Yeah, Ainge did some cheap tactics. He would cry to the refs and pout and throw his hair in the wind and all that, and go like me and all that. Did the same thing as a GM too. You know, got hooked up in Boston though. I know, I know. I used to have his baseball card when he was a prospect of the Toronto Blue Jays. This was back in the day. I did. I had a Danny Ainge baseball card when he was with the Blue Jays. I remember that. Elway got drafted by the Yankees too. I remember all that stuff because I used to collect Topps baseball cards. Well, I didn't have the Elway one, but I had the Danny Ainge one. And cats back then there were multi-talented athletes was incredible. Dave Winfield could have gone in multiple sports. That was before Deion Sanders and Bo Jackson and Brian Jordan. But I'm just saying. But yeah, Ainge did a lot of cheap tactics though. You know, just kind of like a pompous white boy who did enough to get through. But he always kept his butt on legit teams. I remember when he got out of Boston, he went to Portland, went to Phoenix. you know. But you know what my favorite Danny Angel moment is. You already know. When Robert over threw that towel, that had me. We were in stitches that night. We were cracking up. He threw a stanky towel. I said, that's one way to get your butt traded. Oh boy, that was a way to get out of there. They stunk too. And he threw the towel in his face. I cracked up. I cracked up. I cracked up. Robert Ory has supplied me with some of my favorite basketball memories, so I'm always gonna have Robert Ory, aka Will Smith, in my moment. Yeah, I still laugh about it too because I remember that night they were stinking too. They were I forgot how bad they fell off, but I remember they were stinking. And you know, they left Houston, right? See, that's back when so pre social media, right? Your butt goes to these Saudi Arabia teams, you dying. You like because I remember when Chris Webber got traded to Sacramento, and he was like, and the horror was real. You should see these cats' faces. I remember like yesterday, like, oh my god, where's that at? You know, like they be actually there was no Google, and AOL was just brand new. They get on the they had to go to a website. That's how far away it was. It was like a look up. Oh my god. So I know when Ori did that, that was a way of getting out of Phoenix. Let's get out of jail because they stunk. You know, that's back when they had old. We used to call him old sexy Rexy Chapman. That was funny too. That's a whole nother story. But Rex Chapman was hitting them shots and all that, and they would, you know, they were stinking it up, and so I know why he did it. Yeah, Spree did that today. So I don't know if you heard or not. It was a couple weeks ago. Was it in Alabama? About a week ago. That dude got. They had a new way of executing you. He'd been executed. And I could see Donald Trump coming up, okay, if you grab your coach's neck, we're going to get you out. We're going to I do like my black ball players. I do like Latrell. That's a very original name. I know he's from Milwaukee. I love Wisconsin. I love the cheese. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to say please, and then please vote for me. But Latrell, you have to go. That is not black pride. That's not a life that matter. You did PJ wrong. PJ's from St. John's. You're a good Christian man. You can't do that. That's too black. That's too wrong. Not too strong. But if you vote for me, I'll make the right the wrong. See, I could see somebody, you know, it was some funny stuff. And we laughed about that thing was pretty my homeboy and I remember that thing like yesterday too. We cracked up. Because we could see PJ going, help, help, help. No one like PJ Carlesimo. He was a waste in Portland as a coach. He was one of the white boy pompous. And he came in, got hooked up. I don't even realize how why he got hooked up so much. And then he became an analyst. I'm like, yeah, he be gone. Well, see, when David Stern, again, I don't know how long you were aware of David Stern when you was watching ball. David Stern didn't play that. Mm-mm. A lot of these cats that do stuff today, Rasheed Wallace tell you, Stern had that butt gone. Believe that. Meta learned the hard way too. So did Stephen J. Especially if you were you didn't have to be too black. You just do thuggery or you do stupid stuff. Oh yeah. And he didn't like it? Oh yeah. Yeah, well, you remember, so 40 years ago, the New Jersey Generals USFL, he was drafted by him because Herschel bypassed the NFL. As an athlete, I hold that guy in high regard. One of the greatest athletes, pure, pure athletes I ever seen in my life. Could have come from college to the pros. That's how could have gone from high school to pros. Built like an ox, strong. He just didn't have the. He should have had some of the Bo Jackson. Should have had some of that kind of run, Dion type of. Just didn't. But yeah, he was good in the journals. But yeah, they go back. They go back. Okay, let me get to that in a second. So Stern, I love Loeb Stern. Love Loeb. No, because Jordan was because he first of all he went through all that stuff with him in the '90s. You know they had him suspended for gambling, and then you know, then they made his money off of him. He didn't want to see him play for no Washington. Ugly uniforms. You older. You ain't gonna win. I can't fix it where you go against the Lakers. You ain't got you old and you ain't good no more like that. I mean, come on now. What am I supposed to do with that? That's just my voice saying it, but I'm sure that's what Stern was probably thinking. I can't fix you to go in the finals. You ain't got the legs no more. You ain't got the wheels, and you ain't got the team. What am I supposed to do? Okay, Bo would have been a made man, not made to me, but I will put him in my slot of good. Would have been great. It was cut short. It's the woulda, coulda, shoulda. Asterisk, but he's in the good. Loved him in college. And he either plays all of his football career, all of his baseball career, he's a made man. He did a little bit of everything. I had to slide him in the good. I can't slide him in the great because we didn't get the full zenith. But he far exceeded being in the I8 and solid. So I put it as good. I like him personally, but when I say a made man, you gotta have. Not only did you hit the brass ring, but there's no doubts about because you did it all. We didn't get it all. We didn't get the half of it all. So that's why. Deion Sanders, I say, is a made man. Now, if you ask me who was a better athlete, I'm gonna take Bo, but we didn't get all of Bo. But Deion got all of his prime out. Conseco, unfortunately, because it should have been way more. He should have been a made man. He had all the tools, and he was bad, and he had crazy popularity, crossover. He was Oscar De La Hoya before De La Hoya. Latin love him. The 1-800, the 1-900 numbers, cars, Madonna, winning, all that. Chapman's a never was. To be a bum, you gotta, he fell off. He didn't fell off from bum status because he's playing for where? Last I saw was Kansas City. He didn't rock about 5 or 6 teams. Now, bum is like I could have seen it and then it fell off and then it fell off to the point where it's not even worth even remembering. So now he's in the never was pile. Good luck with just getting a team. Stanton, you want to call him a bum? Well, yeah, because he threw over 100 miles per hour, but he fell off from the Yankees, and then he went to other teams, and they didn't want him no more because his sauce got exposed, and there ain't no depth to him. So I can't get excited about a cat that you know, yeah, he can throw 100 plus miles an hour, and then what? He can't make the ball stick. He can't keep a gig, and he's reckless, and he's not consistent. So he's just pillow to post right now. Whatever happens to him, he's on a milk carton somewhere. Yeah, I see it. I see it to his face too, because you had a chance, but you never was now. I mean, you fell off so bad drastic. Stanton, I like his stroke, like when he shuffles the bat. I get Paul George vibes. I see a guy that's a second dude to another dude, and he never can carry a team. And I just don't think, I think the Yankee pinstripes is too big for him. I think being in there, because he ain't cut out to be a Yankee. He's cut out the stat pad. So send him to Detroit or put him on a team that they'll, he can hit home runs. But as far as winning go, he ain't the dude. So he's solid, solid because he does what he. Because for me, it's about winning. His numbers are high, but Verlander is great because Verlander consistent with pitching, clutch. I got much respect for Verlander. Mike Trout is a bum. All that slurping they do for that turkey, act like he gonna be about it, and he just never gets to the next level. I know injuries is one thing, but for all the hype he gets, I just don't see it. Victor Martinez, I'd say, is solid. I like him. Miguel numbers will say great to me to see he's good and very good. He's Hall of Fame for his ballot, but I'm not. I don't know. I'm not blown away. Well, yeah, because if you think about it, he had Albert Pujols, and now he just had Shea Otani. And what has he done? And he stat pads, but what does he do? All those catches. I gotta hear these turkeys come out here on TV talk about, oh, he's the best player by analytic status and all this slurping. And his team don't win nothing. They just the average bunch. The Angels have you can pencil them in for 80 wins. That's a dark move. Well, Pat he's what they need. They need somebody to act like they tough because they soft. I mean, once Giannis gets through mean mugging, what else you got? They soften the interior. They lighten the cakes. No one's scared of them. So, but I'm gonna say that about Trout. They slurped him for years like he's a second coming or something. I'm like, come on, y'all acting like this guy, like they contend for titles or they're a threat. He just doesn't. He's not consistent, and he doesn't bring it. Shohei had more respect. That's why Shohei got out of there. He gonna go to the Dodgers and he'll play with Mookie Betts. I'm gonna tell you one thing: Trout might have better numbers than Betts in certain things, but I'll take Mookie Betts over him all day. Yeah, thank you, because Mookie Betts knows how to come up clutch. Trout don't. Trout's a stat pattern, but I ain't feeling it. Pat Bear was a decent move for the Bucks. They need to get another piece though for the bench. We'll see what they do. Yeah, I'll take Mookie over him too. Trout ain't even been a threat to in the postseason. Not even close. So I don't be feeling him like that. I know it's wrong to say that about Sir Trout, but I just don't feel it. I do too. Because I thought the Red Sox, to me, I thought the Red Sox, that was like the Babe Ruth curse when they let him go. I didn't understand that move. That cat can play. That cat can play. Shoot. And I just didn't understand it. Some moves ain't meant to understood. So some moves ain't meant to understood. But you brought him up, so you bring up certain people, you get a certain reaction out of me. I do like Victor Martinez. He good. Yeah, but Otani's gonna have to learn either the pitch or he's gonna have to hit. He ain't gonna be able to do both. And they can't count on Clayton Kershaw much longer. And they have a tendency to kind of. I know Dave Roberts got a plan better. They got a lot of talent for. They got a lot of talent, but they sure underachieve a lot. So we'll see. We'll see. You want to talk about spend all the money and they don't win? There you go. Talking about the Dodgers. So that's how I look at it. Well, they got Soto. They got Juan Soto. I don't know what they can really do. I mean, the problem that they run into is that you got to be real strategic and you can't spend a lot of money on stuff that don't work. So I don't know if they hey, look if Aaron Boone can't do nothing, but there's nothing they can do. They kind of got their hands tied. Stanton may have to roll. They have to get a couple pitchers. They did get another pitcher. I did hear about it. So, but can they compete with Baltimore and Tampa Bay and maybe Toronto? I don't know. Yeah, but does that mean that they become a title contender? I know why they got him. And even if they get out the AL East, can they ever beat Houston? So just don't know. Just don't know. So don't know. I don't know. Orlando still play. Yeah, he do. Yeah, he do. He do. He's a strong pitcher. Got a good arm. Takes care of himself. Um, yeah, I do like Verlander. I mean, he's you know good, play good. Does play good. He does. His pitching. He. He's at a point where he's understanding his spot. So he's strong. He's strong. I do like Verlander. I do like Verlander. I got respect for Verlander. What's up? How you doing? I still fish. What's up? Holla, give me a message. What's happening with you? Where you coming from? I like that name too. And if you got any question, thing you want to say, feel free. I like that name. I like that. I still fish. I'm on a cold. It's cold winter day, so I'm just tripping about that in a good way. What's up? Feel free to give me a shout out. Whatever's on your mind, let's chop it up. But yeah, I do like Verlander though. Carlton Fisk it was good. He could be annoying. It was good. I call Everett solid. Had some moments, you know, solid. Fisk was good. He came up big. He could be annoying though. You know, you know. But that's a different era though. You know, different era. Different era. If you ask me how I look at guys in that time and now, I'm not really hyped for it, but I hope they win. I'm gonna tell you why I'm not hyped for it. Well, see, first of all, neither one of those are my teams, but I like players from both teams. I want to see Mahomes win. I got respect for Andy Reid. I do like guys on the 49ers. I like guys on both. I don't really have I'm an AFC dude, so I root for KC because of AFC. But I don't have what you call a dog in the race per se. Um, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Well, what I said is this: if you're going by the actual numbers that Shannon Sharp and Cat got, they should have gone for the Monique video. Monique said this years ago. I hate it when people have selective revisionist history where they pick someone because they have more appeal to what they like as opposed to what someone says. You see, Cat Williams to me as an entertainer is more like on the third tier front. And he's getting paid first tier with the Netflix. But Monique won Grammy, Emmy, Oscar, won awards. Spin off with the Parkers from Monique. Queens of Comedy Tour. Okay. Precious in the movie with Mariah and Lenny and all that. Won the Oscar. She won. She did things. You're talking about a woman that climbed bars, done stuff, and been doing it for 30 plus years too, by the way. But again, the problem with this is that it's a middle-aged black Hollywood. She does talk about white folk too, and that's why I like her because she ain't. She just don't. And unlike Kat, she put the white ones out there because she'll tell you that she came out and talk about Tyler Lee Daniels and Oprah, and she'll talk about the white folks and Netflix because she put it out there. She got white ball, so I had to. I talked about it. Well, Harvey ain't gonna say nothing because he's got family. Because he would have been. I don't know if you noticed or not. They almost let him go a couple years ago with that one scandal that came out a couple years ago, and then it got downplayed. So he kept his Family Feud gig and some other thing. She did too. That's what I'm saying. She wasn't the first to come out and speak about all of it. Talked about Oprah going after the Jacksons. That ain't fashionable. That ain't fashionable. Cat Williams has been bowed back and forth on Michael Jackson. Monique come out and say, hey, she used them. She used Michael. Monique ain't back her tongue talk about the right. She talk about the pay. Okay. Because you gotta remember as a black woman going against Chappelle and Cat Williams and holding it down, not getting that bag. But they tell you to get this Grammy matters. They tell you this Emmy award matters, this Oscar matters. What does it matter if you can't cash it in for nothing? What does them token awards matter? She's living proof of what I'm saying. She did the whole thing. See, now like Cat ain't done the half of what Monique done. But they're giving him like this pass, like he's saying something groundbreaking. This woman been saying this for years. She telling you about the plantation. And DL, yeah, he tap dance. I mean, because first of all, he can't carry nothing. But they kind of use him, Vlad TV and these others use him as kind of like a roller coaster, like he's a roller coaster ride to dabble into both worlds. He ain't been called out on it, but that's what he do. He let a lot of stuff slide when he want to. Yeah, well, everybody knew about Harvey. That's old, but they let it go on. That's why they're almost criminal that he is locked up because they let him get away with it. Because actually, he wasn't lying when he said that's the casting couch is real in Hollywood, which it is. You still got to go to the couch right now just because they got a couple of three people locked up. Ain't nobody come after Matt Lowry or Rob Lowe, Woody Allen, Roman Polanski out in France. He ain't thinking about you. Got his Oscar 20 years ago. Let's see, the problem with Kevin Hart is that he's openly on the plantation. I don't pick on Kevin Hart because I don't find him funny, but I know why he's where he's at. I know why he's at. He's actually catching the heat that Eddie Murphy would have caught if Eddie was coming along with what he says because they all ran by the same organization. Kevin Hart, when he spoke out against gays about the Oscars, they almost buried his little behind, if you remember. So he been tap dancing back in line after that, if you remember. That's why they dug Chris Rock up out the grave to host the show. Think about it. The Rock is a grinning machine because he can't. He's got the perfect tanned and blend. There's big white money behind him. So we talked to this about wrestling and why black wrestler. Why he was the right time, and McMahon put money behind him. He don't need WWF because he'll find another vehicle. See, cats like that, they'll find ways to make it again. They just go underground, just like Daniel Snyder, kind of like Trump did. They got other sources of income. They're not going to be hurting, you know. And they cancel him, what, 40, 50 years after the pool day? Come on now. Am I supposed to be impressed? They know what he been doing. They know what he been doing. I'll be right back. They know. They pick when they want him. All right, I'm back. Had to put that thing down for a moment. Had a minor moment. He ain't gonna be canceled. He ain't gonna be canceled. I told you how this goes. What's up, Bob? Well, let me know where you from, Bob, and we can address that too. Let's talk. We'll talk about that. You saw how Stephen A. and all them kissed the ring because he make too much money for ESPN. Dana White, Joe Rogan, you know how it go. And he's living his best life. That's the sad reality about Dana White. But that's common. I told you they go after who they want to. Now let Dana White not make no money for him and start to speak out socially. Appreciate you, Bob. Me and Presley is like this. I liked his gospel stuff. He was a versatile singer. Black man wrote majority of his songs, and obviously, black music influenced him, inspired him. He was the white dude that they needed to cross that line with. He, um, I love Suspicious Minds. That's one of my favorite songs. Can't help falling in love. He has some songs I like. The movies was corny, but he's one of those artists that has an important catalog, and he has his importance. He was very charismatic, personifiable, and but I'm gonna say it like this: could Jackie Wilson have had that kind of situation? Yes. He could have easily been. You and what makes it so frustrating is for folks that he had people a certain range. People loved him. I'm gonna sit here and I'm not gonna say that he didn't have any talent because he did. He was very charismatic and all things like that. But lesson, there is a double-edged sword with this thing. I mean, was he this king of rock and roll stuff? No, no. Was he better than Chuck Berry or more important than Little Richard did? No. Could Jackie Wilson have had that same situation? Yes. You know, Presley was very impactful though. He had impact, and he was a strong live performer, and he was a good singer, an okay guitar player, if we want to call it that. But he had the pop star it. And see, the pop star it ain't just about your talent; it's about your hair. He had the hair, he had the image. He came at the right time. But see, yeah, he looks like a genius compared to what they did with Pat Boone, which was embarrassing. Pat Boone was like what blackface trying to do Little Richard. I remember what Ray Charles said, and you know, and Ray wasn't lying. You gotta remember, Ray Charles is like the father of soul music. That man, if you listen to his music, he covered all the bases. But see, Chuck sounded vocally almost like he was white. They liked him enough. Uh, they loved Chuck Berry enough that they let him that he fit in because he had a country twang and a vibe, and he wasn't. He could talk about racial stuff, but do it in a what was it, Maybelline? One of them songs he did do it, but he did it in such a subtle way. And he's got crazy white love to this day. Do you know Bill Clinton was a big fan of his, and they gave him a presidential awards of merits and all kinds of stuff. You but see, Chuck Berry is like American folk. Like he got this rare, crazy love. They got big love for Chuck Berry. It was an artistry they did. He wasn't too threatening. Truth is, Chuck Berry's situation ain't that different than R. Kelly, but you ain't heard it from me though. So, but anyway, um, he got around. But I remember reading about him when he was in St. Louis. That's where he's from because I got family there. Oh yeah, we're gonna get to that in just a second. He drove a Datsun car because he said the cops used to harass him in St. Louis, so he drove a car. So I remember that Chuck Berry story. Oh yeah, that's a dub. I mean, I did a little mini video where I said Wilt Chamberlain was like the James Brown of basketball or Jim Brown and football. I mean, everybody been eating off of James Brown's plate, head to toe. One of the five most important artist. And when I say important, not just but the music, just the impact, the whole, you know, he had his own dance for crying out loud. When you got your own dance, that's a pretty strong statement. When I think of 4/4 music, he comes to mind. When I say Ticket to the Bridge, I think of James Brown. I mean, hip hop. What would hip hop be if they didn't sample him? I mean, he is one of those people that was you could call music if you want to. It's kind of like the Bill Russell of me of a well, I say Will Chamberlain with the numbers and stuff, but anybody that's a great figure and dominant in another field or something, yeah, the voice, the impact, classic album, and the guy that a lot of people channel as a standard. Yeah, no doubt, no arguments there. Love them both. Huge fan of both of them. The kind of artists that I can't begin to say enough about. They've been very impactful. And Lord knows I've listened to so much of their music through the years. Uh, the ironic thing about this though is James Brown used to date Tammy Terrell. Used to beat her behind though. That's the sad part. JB was a mean brother, and she had to bring to me. It was a sad stuff because she liked them bad boys. That's the sad part. I don't think James Brown and Marvin Gaye would have been exactly kicking at the same fish fry barbecue. Just saying. So it's interesting that you mentioned both of them. But Marvin and Tammy Terrell were great. But yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, cause you know all that screaming he did. You know his hair be like, hi, and his perm be like he was on fire. Yeah. So yeah, he had a temper. But anyway, I hope I addressed that to you, Bob, more wherever you went. Appreciate you coming through. And that's all I gotta say about Presley. You know, he had great songs, and he had a charisma and persona that endured. You know, it comes. He's one of those kind of artists that, and like I said, I like "Suspicious Minds" is one of my favorite songs ever. Um, Can't help falling in love with like that song. I got some Elvis songs that I like, but I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that he was the baddest white boy I ever heard. No, you know, as far as white cats like that, I'm going with Sinatra. But Presley came with the controversial. He was the one that because it was, which they've always done. White dude that could sound like he black influence, etc. But he connected though. Can't say he didn't connect. So you know, didn't like his movies though. And of course, but he was a good live performer. Paranoid dude, and the music world came and passed him by. Yeah, he was cool with folks, but he was also a cat you had to keep your eyes on. I mean, Frank was wild. He had things kind of falling the way he did it. Well, he was respectable, Sammy. I'm not gonna say he had the mafia. If you say he used them, had the mobsters, and Sinatra did give the green light to certain things. He was a cat that had some honor. You know, he was for the most part a stand up dude. You know, so just saying, Presley is Presley would be considered a made man because of his impact. I mean, he's one of the most important figures in popular music. That's not saying that I'm not going to say I hold him in the highest regard as some other folks, but he's a made man in the sense that he's a standard for popular music that you can't deny. He hit in a way that still speaks volumes, even though some people may not necessarily be into him or what have you like that, but the impact is no joke. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I haven't seen another white male artist since him really dominate and have that kind of polarizing effect. Think about it. No, no, no. Willie Nelson is great. Uh, Stardust, his voice connected. To all the girls I loved before him and Julio Iglesias to doing his part on We Are the World. He really connected. He doesn't. I'm gonna say it like this. I might have liked Kenny Rogers more as far as the country pop cat crossing over, but Willie Nelson ain't nothing to sneeze at. That nice timbre in his voice, and he connected artistry wise. Good vocalist, and I like his work. I really do like Willie Nelson. So not somebody that no. I'd name you some casting with bums, but I wouldn't. He ain't one of them. He was good, good to great. I'm funny about country male artists though, because some of them is racist. And I rest in peace to Toby Keith. I was, but I had to do the I did a T Pain video, and but he was racist. He was a good old boy. I don't wish his death the way he died on anyone, but he was a good old boy. Most of them are. Hate to say it. They get caught up with the Confederate flags and their style and what they do. So, but I like Willie though. Yeah, I like Willie. Nice voice. I know people gonna think of pothead and how he is, but he actually could sing. He does some stuff I like. See, when I was a young boy, like On the Road Again was a big hit, and I listened a lot of country because I lived in the South. So I wasn't like, I listened to funk, rock, pop, gospel, blues, jazz. Country was in there too. Bluegrass when I went further south. So I wasn't like I was familiar with a lot of cats. I feel like I had a musical advantage. I listened to it, and it was part of the radio fabrication. So yeah, see, I don't know if he compared him to Elizabeth because, but I'm gonna say this: he was a good old boy. No, he drank the red cup. He was a Dixie white boy, and he lived that role, and you know, he was only 62, and I'm looking at this cat like, why are you so hateful? Why are you acting like you were born like 1931 or something? Like you ain't seen no Negroes, like you ain't seen nobody black. So I didn't want to. I had to part of me was the way he died was sad. Okay. However, what I remember his artistry, of course, I used to see all the Ford truck commercials and all that. The only thing that I liked about her was that she didn't eat potatoes. I thought from a health perspective because she kept her weight down. So I listened to that part of her. But if you ask me personally about her, we could say racial, obviously. But we gonna say, and she married a cousin. That's whole nother story. She was part co-conspirator of the 186 when it came to Lady Diana. And I like Diana far more than any of them. Any of them. I heard mixed about that. But I think on the low, his first wife was black. I think. Correct if I'm wrong. Um, he had a couple songs that were all right, you know, but I don't really. Again, I didn't pay him a lot of attention like that. Really didn't. I really didn't. I'm more of a Kenny Rogers dude if you want to know the truth as far as the country cats go. Just saying. A lot of them country acts were good old boy, good old girl South. Like Loretta Lynn, who had a tough story, but she wasn't feeling the brothers too tough, but she had a story. Dolly Parton, who we gave a pass to until we find out otherwise, even though there's some suspect stuff that but she a freak though, so we kind of gave Dolly a pass. And how much she loves from Richard Pryor. you're saying, but I don't. Again, I'll tell you like this: I don't know these entertainers. Um, I don't. Nothing would shock or surprise me. They all bought and paid off in some form of capacity. You know, you see people presented one way and then another. So when you say drafts, are you talking about the years of the players? Because that's kind of and the thing about the NFL drafts, I can't tell you that one draft year for me would stand out. It's not like the NBA where I could sit there and say, okay, this year had the best of the best. Because like I always, like I told Ted, um, I never know how guys are gonna turn out. You know, that's the only way I can say if it's a favorite or not. I can look in hindsight. Because I don't think too many people saw Tom Brady at number 199 and thought he was gonna be GOAT. Whereas Mahomes top 10. Okay. See, we had gotten Willis McGahee. Was it 2002? Because he slipped all the way because, he got hurt. And I thought that was a steal. But, hmm, I only go by when a guy turns out all right. I can't really, I can't really go by. I don't look at the NFL draft like I do basketball for his years. But, yeah, he was, but he got hurt. That's the only reason why he felt like he did. Because when we got him, I was hyped. He got hurt. See, and football drafts are so funny, Tom, because I remember when Warren Sapp had that marijuana charge with Miami, and then he fell all the way. Tampa Bay got him at do some ridiculous 12 or something because he had a drug charge. I'm like, how stupid can y'all be? So I think what's hurt the NFL draft more than anything is the same thing that you need quarterbacks, but a lot of them who aren't necessarily in the top 4 or 5, the ones that fall lower. That's the reason why it's kind of hard because it's what you go by, and you can't really go by the running backs no more. So really, what makes a particular good draft? He has to turn out. So we're gonna actually look at it like I remember the '85 draft, and it wasn't funny. It felt like it was fixed because I watched it on TV. And Lenny Wilkins, we used to call Pimp to the Back because he had his hairline, but it was like Pimp to the Back. We were cracking up. We said Pimp to the Back was all lined up. And Seattle was going to get him. And then he went to New York because David Stern. And you remember the whole, well, you weren't born then. If you weren't, you don't know what I'm talking about. But they had the magical ball. Everybody knew that mess was fixed. Because that was the first one on TV because Dave DeBusschere was the New York Knicks GM at the time. That mess was fixed. So that's one of the ones where you know that Stern was in on it. The '03 was a win-win, but Dwayne Wade was the steal at 5, and I tell you why. Because not only go to Miami, but he really turned into the guy that put it all together for everybody. Like for instance, LeBron went to Cleveland, so LeBron had a great career regardless. Carmelo drafted. They all were friends, and then Darko taken by the Pistons. But and then Bosh got drafted later, but no one saw Dwayne Wade. And so think about it, they all could have been teammates, and most of them was friends. So they should have drafted Wade. Melo would have been great for scoring, but Wade would have fit. Wade would have been a great fit with Wallace, um, Rashid, Tayshawn, them guys. He would have been, and then you probably would have brought Rip off the bench, start D Wade. You'd have had a squad for about 3 or 4 years, and you probably get a chance to win a ring or two. That's how big Wade would have fit. He'd have been scary with them. I'm glad Miami got him. Melo would have only fit is if The way the NBA went, oh, they would have clashed. It would have only worked and fit if the NBA was like it was in 2012. 2013 NBA, he'd be a great fit for Detroit. 2003, he's going to be fighting Brown. And if you thought Brown and Iverson had issues, you ain't seen nothing. Plus, Melo was coming off that chip with Syracuse, block shots, hit big shots. No. So, but yeah, NFL drafts are a little bit different because I used to be see, it's one of the most overrated spectacles. And they get hyped about it. I remember Jetman be there with his helmet held on his head and all that. I just don't really get into it till I see how a guy turns out. I really can't, because you have to kind of let it play out. But it's also the part you get. He would have fought him about staying mentally in tune. That's why he didn't want him. Wade was a better fit. It's not always about a guy's skill set. It's about, can he fit into the culture? Can his mindset be right? Melo wasn't always with it, and it showed. Should have had at least a ring, maybe two. Skill set to score, scoring machine, but just didn't have the mindset to finish. Because if you think about it, he was a precursor to Durant. Guy could flat out score. Just kind of exhibited bummy behavior. Yeah. Okay, thank you, Bob. Oh yeah, those are all great artists too. I mean, appreciate that, Bob Armstrong. Between blowing the trumpet and singing, you know, he was on his own. I mean, he's one of the made men, one of the greats. James Brown changed the course of popular music. You can't begin to say enough about his impact. Stevie Wonder, probably our greatest living American treasure, and the guy that's a musical standard. Can't say enough about that. Michael Jackson, no, said the most dominant artist of my lifetime. That guy is like one of those alphas, for real. Prince, incredible talent, great showman, and had a strong impact. Paul Anka, one of the greatest songwriters ever. Artistry speaks volumes. So those are all strong artists that you mentioned. Devin Booker, yeah, because he's not a leader and he needs a sidekick. And the problem is that him and Kevin Durant, who is gonna lead that team? You remember you said that at the time. Who's leading Phoenix? Who? Who? I know you got cats that can score 30 a bucket. I know Bradley Beal. Who is the leader on the Suns? They have none. They're not gonna win none. Case over. Luca is just like a foreign version of James Harden. And until he learns to play with, as long as he get him a big or they get somebody that can slow the game down, pace, he's just gonna stat pad. I mean, he can score and and his triple doubles will go way up and all that. But Jason Kidd ought to be ashamed of himself saying he's better than Dirk and these other people. Jason Kidd could come back to Dallas right now, put Luca in his position, and they would win. Okay. I like Kyrie, but he ain't no leader. I like him. He got handles. He can play, but he need to play with somebody great too. He ain't that dude. If he were, it would have worked in Brooklyn. And it wasn't no mandates that why he didn't. He just didn't play consistent in Brooklyn. That ain't gonna do with the mandates. He wasn't consistent there. He really ain't been consistent since he left LeBron. Just keeping it 100. Yeah, a scoring dude and a guy got crazy handles and all that, but he's halftimey. You know I want to call Kyrie a bum. You do know that, right? Because that guy could be great. He should be. But we don't always get everything out of him. We don't. And he really ain't showed me a lot post without LeBron. He's had some scoring games, yes. But I'm not sitting around like, oh, Kyrie. You know, the movie was big, Uncle Drew. I mean, but let's not get it twisted. He should be a lot better. He should be a lot better. He ain't no leader. And he's quiet as his kept. He's on his last leg because if he messes this up with Dallas, they probably send his butt. What did you just say? But he can play good defense when he wants to. Thank you. That's bum behavior. Thank you. You answered your own question mark. There you go. See, that's what a bum is. That's the definition right there. But he can play good when he wants to. Thank you. Bum. Thank you. That's what I've been telling you all the time. Bums are more frustrating than scrubs. Yeah. And I listen, I supported Ville because he wasn't saying anything wrong. I took exception to Shaq, Charles, and Kenny last year. In fact, I stopped watching the show for a while because I defended him. But he plays half-hearted as a player sometimes. He do. He do. He teamed up with Gordon Hayward. How'd that turn out in Boston? They got rid of him. Tatum and Brown come in. They don't miss a beat. Then you tell me. So how good is he really? Brooklyn ain't doing too bad this year without him. They okay. They a scrub team, but they doing better though. Zach Levine's a never was to me. I mean, all he's got is a slam dunk contest. What has he done? He's stat pad. What he do? What he do? What he do? What he do? If he goes to some other team, he's gonna be third wheel. For all them numbers and stats he puts up, he's third wheel. He gives you athleticism and what else? What does he do? Ain't nothing special. He had his chance last year against Miami in that playing tournament, and he stunk the last 3 minutes. They were up by what 70 points, and he choked. I don't want to hear nothing about this cat. Tired of hearing about Zach Levine's whack behind, because it wasn't for the him and Aaron Gordon in their version of LeBron and Steph finals slam dunk contest. We wouldn't even be talking about Zach Levine. As far as Cat's soft, but I'll say he's a solid, but he's a stat pattern, and he's got that show is so common. And Minnesota's comedy. No wonder takes them serious because everyone think they soft like tissue. Rudy Gobert is soft, and Edwards can go. He got a chance to be great, but they're such a bipolar team. I don't know what to say. But Cat, he doesn't move me. He's solid because he can shoot a bit, play a bit, but he settles. If they stay healthy and Kawhi is on a mission and he plays like he is, he'll get back in the MVP discussions and he will remind people why he's one of the 75 greatest players ever because he is one of the greatest players I've ever seen. Kawhi got a real unique style about him. He got a certain shot. It's not like Jordan, but it's you just know it's gonna go in. He has a mid range that's sick, and he's got that Moses Malone attitude. So Pascal got traded from Indiana. That's a great move. That's a great move. And I'll tell you why, because he's an inside out man. He'll be a good fit. That's a good move. And that might be the move that makes them top four. And of course, if Milwaukee and Boston knock each other off, they could be back in the finals because you know how playoff Jimmy is. I guess he'll have another hairdo. He might have a Jerry curl by the time the playoffs go. And then he gets crazy in the playoffs. And then bam, and then they end. I'm not surprised by Duncan Robinson because they had to get rid of one of the white boys. I like Duncan all right, but they weren't doing anything. That's a good move. He's the kind of guy that I want on my team. They needed some more stretch on the front. He can shoot, he can score, he can create. That's a good move. So I think they'll make another move too. But that's a good move. That's a good move. And since I'm one, and even as a Heat fan, I'm gonna tell you like this, and I don't care if you're a Celtic fan. I don't trust your law firm because Brown and Tatum is gonna find a way to choke. Milwaukee softened the cakes. You know they got Pat Beverly. Come on now, Doc Rivers over there. We can beat them. They are tough, but they need another score. They missing another piece, and it ain't LeBron, but they missing another piece. That's the only reason why I think they're gonna come. Because Brunson playing good, Randall's hurt. We're gonna see. So, so we will see. I like the Knicks. I mean, but you know, Tibbs, being Coach Tibbs for fears. I don't know about him. His offensive game is kind of suspect, so I'm not so sure. I think they're missing that one piece. But Brunson turned out a lot better than they thought. Yeah, I saw that. That's a nice little move. You know, he can hit some shots. That's for when they play Milwaukee and Boston. I know what that's about. But that ain't the answer though. It's a nice part though, but that's not the answer. I think the Heat got the move though so far. So, but we ain't seen none of them moves where your eyes go. That's the one we're waiting for. We need that eyeball move. We ain't got that yet. Golden State can't move nobody. Cause that's who Pascal. They got some pieces, but okay, it's hard to move cats now. They can't get the pieces for him because Ingram, he does have bum tendencies, and I like him. But he's one of them guys when he feel like it, he can go off. When he's in that when he motivated, and I always just say he need to put more meat on his bones because I say he was like a broke Junior Whopper Durant. But when he got that first step, when he go off, he can put something on. I bet the Lakers wish they had him right now because his future gonna be good. He get going. It's just that him and Zion, and they don't really have a leader there. They don't have leadership there. They playing off athleticism. They're not playing cohesive basketball. They don't have that leader. See, if they had somebody like Shea running the guard spot, they would come out the West. That's what they're missing. They need a guy that can. Mhm. If they they might could get a sleepy move. You know, the key with them is health and balance. But they're gonna be a threat no matter what. They're a dangerous team without doing a lot. They still got a good record. Jokic is still playing MVP level, and it's not even like a mind blowing season. Other cats have stepped way up. Yeah, they do. I heard some crazy story about Giddy. Or Pervy Giddy was a rumor trade, but I don't know. If they get rid of him, then you can best believe he'll be going to someone's G League. That's gonna be the back end to get him out of there. But if Andre Drummond was half as good as he claims to be, he'd be a good fit with OKC. Yeah, he's in the solid range. I'd say solid. I'm not blown away by him, but he's solid. He's solid. Solid. I say solid. Solid. Jordy was solid. I just think that injuries and timing um, kind of. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. Just got a knock at the door. You know, I am human after all. I'll be on for about 15 more because brother gonna have to eat in about 15, 20. Jordy Nelson. Yeah, he was solid. Just he just got um he just got what I want to say is that Jody just got timing. Santonio Holmes, kind of like the Robert Ory, James Posey, Eddie House of receivers. You know, a guy like that, like you really don't really think much about him until it comes postseason. That's where he boomed. Postseason went up a whole nother level. Steve Tasker I liked a lot. Tasker was nice. Okay, that's a good move for them. Steve Tasker I liked. He was nice. Yeah, Tasker was nice. He played hard. He multitasked. You know, as if the Bills, like if they had a one of those rings, he'd be a Ballot Hall of Fame easily. He was versatile. I was glad that Don Beebe got a ring with Green Bay. Tasker was nice. You know, it's just Andre Reed was better, but Tasker was nice. Tasker played hard. I don't know what the PJ Washington move, but that's good for Dallas. I don't know what they're gonna do though. Todd Heap was decent. Brian Mitchell was very good, very good. Gave you all purpose, very good. Steve Largent was great. Largent was a bad white boy. Hit boy could catch, and he just played with Seattle when before they were. I mean, imagine if Russell Wilson had had him, especially with the hype and everything. Largent was the truth. That was a bad white boy. You know, Mitchell was very good, really good, all purpose, and Tahi he would, he would. But the fact that he did what he did back then is a testament to his talent. Just kind of like Roger Craig. There's certain guys that they, just saying. So, you know, just saying. Yeah, I'm glad he's still getting some love. I think he deserves some attention. I think that he deserves it. Um, you know, I got respect for being me. I just he should have gotten an opportunity. I'm always gonna feel that way. So he will have valuable experience. He did coach actually Kansas, Washington played Frisco, so he got some insight on a couple of things that Purdy did in that one game. If Washington had any kind of offense and made a stop, but he definitely got some expertise on it. He deserves to be getting an opportunity. It wasn't his fault he was stuck with Sam Cowell. How? Please. Yeah, well, no, he's not. He's just right now he's third tierish. Who has some moments that he can look good, but he looks average, and then he looks like a screw. So he kind of falls in the you know. See, it's tough when I look at the NFC East, for instance, right? Jalen hurt, Dak, and then is Sam Howell worse than what the Giants got? He's not better than Tyrod Taylor even right now, but is he better than he's better than DeVito, but Daniel Jones and Sam Howell. Where do we go with Daniel Jones and Sam Howell? See what I'm working with? And one of them turkeys is a scrub, maybe. I mean, I don't know. But Eric Bieniemy never had a chance though. Sam Howell will get you fired before you got a chance to start because he just think they're good. And Ron Rivera didn't implement enough offense. Scoring 17 points today is just see what I mean? That's how bad it is. You go from Jalen and Dak, and then the tear goes. See where we're going? The tears here because Jalen and Dak are like, and then we get to Washington and the Giants. See what I mean? See how I did that? That's how bad it get. That's how bad it get. And you gonna fire a man behind? Well, how come the Giants ain't fire their coach? I mean, because DeVito, come on, you got Tyrod Taylor out the dungeon. Yeah. So AFC East, Josh Allen, Tua. Oh God. And then we get to oh God, we get to New England, and then good call. Josh Allen, Tua, and then we see how bad it is. See how bad this goes. And then Jets last year were like dissing Zach Wilson. And, oh God, how can you be a head coach of that? And Aaron Rodgers ain't gonna come back. He's shot. So now, oh yeah, don't forget about you left out a certain person. Why you don't mention Mr. Cousins? Your division. If I was to go by this year, they had Jerry Goff, Jordan Love, Fields, and then what Minnesota had out there. That don't even sound right. That don't even sound right. Yeah, like he'd be a drunk cousin. So he is, but he needs some help on the line, and he needs a better head coach to save his time. I like how he played, but again, like I said before, they got to get a better. They may have to let go someone to keep that line for him, but he won't make it too long. So we'll see. He's tough, but that division is tough. I mean, boy, if Pittsburgh gets a quarterback, somebody in trouble. Cleveland gets a steady quarterback, Adams. And I ain't just saying it because you're on, but Ocho was nice, but I felt gimmicky, broke T.O. He had moments, but Devontae moved me more. I think if Ocho had actually just played football a lot of times and didn't try to show up, you know, Jimmy G, because as long as he don't turn the ball over, he doesn't even have to throw his body away. He just has to be, and he's more accurate than Russell. Russell's a better quarterback, but if you ask me who works better in Pittsburgh, I'm gonna tell you Jimmy G, because he's poised. You give him the right system, he gonna win you 10, 11 games. I don't think Russell could like do that now. Even though Sean Payton was hard on him and over the top, Russell did fall off, and he's predicated on a lot of motion. And Jimmy G gives you a better game for style. Tomlin doesn't mind grinding it out. So Russell with the Raiders would be interesting. Jimmy G with Pittsburgh, style wise, would work. I wish. I wish. I wish. That's the kind of player they need too. No diss to Diggs, but Jefferson is a beast. And I still remember that 4th and 11 play that Cousins threw in Buffalo, and he hit him. So I do too. He got spring in him. He just don't have a quarterback. And I just think that, you know, that's how I feel about him. But I like him though. I like him. I like him. I wish we could get him. Because if we get him, that's the thing that'll save Josh Allen and it'll save Sean McDermott. Well, what he'll do is cut off the turnovers and stop the cutesy play and the stupid plays. Because Herbert needs to be focused. They did too much stupid stuff with their last coach. Staley just did dumb stuff, and it cost the kid growth. And they lost a lot of games, chippy games. Better coached with a little more what we call frontline discipline. That team is a 10-win team. They should be a threat. That's just a waste. So anybody that's worth their salt in the sand as a coach gonna get them 6 more wins than what they have. He should be a threat to Mahomes. Not where you're done by November 1st. That was just embarrassing. But that type of talent too, yeah, running game, receivers, underachieved. Bad. Bad football. So Harbaugh can definitely fix it up. Yeah, but when you're playing with a lackluster team, you look like a dud, and they can't win. So, you know, Stats don't mean a thing if you just a 6, 7 win team, especially when Mahomes is running laps against you. I mean, Patrick Mahomes got more postseason wins than you cats average regular season wins. So half of what you make is regular season wins. That's he's going to his fourth game this year. Wow, he won three. You win 6, 7 games. That's half of what you win. That's not good. So they're not good. So, but Harbaugh gonna learn that it's gonna take a little time though. So it should be a 90, a 100% drop, and what he's replaced him with ain't happening. Shannon was a gold find. You don't get them often when you get a tag team partner. I like Sherman as a player. Respect Irvin. Keyshawn is just kind of like a buzz that be buzzing. He got some knowledge, but he's better as a third man on a rotate. But he messed up badly. He should be. I know one of them stiff neck white folks was like, "Oh, Skip, oh, Skip, oh," because Shannon Sharp got it. I mean, he saved Stephen A's behind. The show he's got with Ocho is probably the best of all them sports commentators. They ghetto, but they be funny. And then his Shay Shay show. I mean, Skip Bayless is kind of like Belichick, ironically. I remembered him, but at the time he was kind of like a dude that was like third or fourth on the wheel. Tony Kornheiser was talking about it. They remember him, you know, pretentious, snobby white dude. But he hustled and he got in favor with the right folks. That's it. He played counterproductive, and that's what got him over. See, if you do the counter where you don't like nothing and you moody and you angry white dude, and he got all the trademarks down pat. I used to watch the sports. Mike Trupica, one of them cats from Detroit, but Skip was one of them cats that understood the shock value, and he was a good scholar of it, and he hung around, got hooked up. So, but he found out a hard lesson in the reality of the now, which never has changed. If you get an it person, you don't blow it. Because it people don't come along every day. It's kind of like when Damien Dash said, even though I'm not a big Jay Z fan. Oh, can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Is that better? I was talking kind of low. But my thing was this. If you got an it person, go get another one. So, okay. I'll be coming back in it. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna go take me an eat break, and I will be back in a half hour. I'm gonna resume. So you cats come back as soon as I finish eating. I will be back on. So if y'all cats come back, I will check y'all both out. Yeah, I'm gonna go do it. I'll catch you. Give me a little time. All right. I'll be back on it. All right. Good talking to you. I'll be back. Peace and the best. I'm gonna go eat, and I'm gonna get that phone touched up. All right. Peace out.